startup though, guys. Alright guys, so we got this thing all cleaned up. Now it's time to go start doing these break-in miles. And safety first, we gotta put this seatbelt on around the camera. So we're gonna start doing these break-in miles. I know I have talked to you guys about this in the past. We had about 10 to 12,000 less subscribers at that point. So I'm gonna go ahead, walk you guys through it again, talk a little bit about it. I'm not gonna go extremely into depth, but I am gonna talk to you guys about it. I do usually like to do motor break-ins out in the country because you do need to alter your RPMs. And with doing that, it makes it kind of hard to do, obviously, if you're in town with traffic and driving and things like that. But we are trying to insinuate in-town driving pretty much when we're doing our engine break-in. You know, the biggest thing is engine braking, so downshifting and letting the RPMs come down, because that's going to pull your reins out to let them seat and create, you know, create compression, I guess is what, sorry, I'm trying to pull out here. Create compression and go through the break-in process here. But that is one of the bigger things. There's going to be a lot of people's opinions on engine break-in. Everyone's different. My biggest advice to you guys as far as engine break-in, and I've said this in the past, is listen to your engine builder. They're going to be the ones that want you to follow a certain procedure and program and going through it. Not everyone is like me, where, you know, I'm putting the first 100 miles on the car. That's the most important part of the engine's life. So I'm the one doing that, and then letting them put the rest of the miles on when they pick up the car. And you'll kind of hear me in the background. I think you guys will hear me better talk in this video because this car does have a stock exhaust, but you might hear the car in the background altering our RPMs. And now when I'm talking about that, for some of you that don't understand, that's okay. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to walk you guys through it. So looking through here, let me switch the camera around. You can see we have our cluster view. So I'm cruising along in third, and then I'll go down to second, and I'll let the car come down in RPMs. And then I'll go ahead and light throttle up to 45. And I'll do that through the gears. And then I'll let it come back down in the RPMs. Same thing, downshift. And then you're letting it come down in the RPMs. This is what's breaking the engine in, guys. This is 100%. Like I said, everyone will be different. This is pretty much the basics here of what I'm doing. That's going to be mandatory in pretty much any engine break-in process. The other side of it that I was getting to, and I skipped, is a lot of engine builders will want you not to do any kind of boost. So if you have a turbo car, not to get in any boost. I'm not a believer in that. I am a firm believer that if the engine's going to work, it's going to work from day one. Now, granted, there is some things that need to be done, such as engine braking and breaking the motor in. I mean, you'll see, you guys really think that we do much of a break-in on our 1000+ wheel STI? No. My personal engines and race motors and race motor program, you know, that will drive around the block, drain the oil, turn it up, things like that. But that's a whole different area. I'm a little bit different than most as far as engine break-in. The main reason why I was talking to you guys before about the warranty period and 2,500 miles is because it allows me to give them a warranty on the engine for the first 2,500 miles, because I have a controlled environment, I guess is what you would call it, for engine break-in. Versus when it's power tuned, you don't really have the controlled environment. I mean, you don't know if someone's out there just beating the crap out of the thing, and let's say doing back-to-back pulls, top speed pulls. I mean, those are all things that are going to hurt an engine, let alone when it's brand new. So that is one of those things where I have a controlled environment, a 4,500 RPM limiter, the wastegate duty cycle is zeroed out, so we're just on wastegate boost. And then they drive it for that first 2,500 miles. Everything's under warranty. You know, any oil leaks, coolant leaks, noises, anything that were ever to happen with the motor, which I've never had happen, that would be covered. So that's why I do that for the first 2,500 miles. Not so much for me. Like I said, I'm a believer that engine's going to just work. So I do encourage them to do like what I'm doing right now, where you're tipping into it and you are introducing it to boost and not just not introducing it to anything. Obviously I'm really light throttle right now, but I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but I am introducing it to boost. and I see boost as a good sign of it. I mean, and then engine braking is obviously number one. That's what we need to keep doing, and then letting the engine cool down. So there's obviously multiple steps. I know I'm kind of talking you guys' ear off this. Everyone's gonna have their own opinion. I'm sure I'll have some comments that don't agree with what I'm saying, and you know what, that's perfectly fine. You can go ahead and build your motors in, or break your motors in exactly how you want. That is up to you. You know, everyone's gonna be different. I just tell anyone that has my engines in their car a different way to break in. So hopefully that sums it up for you guys. I'm going to continue doing this. I'm not going to make you sit here and listen to me just jab away, but I'm going to get the first 50 miles of this thing knocked out. Figured perfect opportunity to go get our Evo head, and we still need to get those 07 STI heads right now from that build that we're doing. So I'm actually picking those up today too. So I'm pretty happy. I'll have both of those so we can start making some progress. So I will keep you guys updated along the way. I'll probably go ahead and close this video out a little bit later, but I hope you guys enjoyed this series. It was really short, 2 episodes, only a week and a half, full stage 3 motor build from a rod knock car, and that was with ordering the parts. So I think especially right now that's really good because it is a little bit harder to get parts. A lot of things are out of stock. So definitely super excited for Drew, and I'm sure he is going to be absolutely thrilled for this thing because it has burned oil from day one of when he purchased the car. The car only has 86,000 miles on it, but he said a young kid had purchased the car. He was the first owner, and his parents made him sell it because he got too many tickets. So I'm sure it didn't have the greatest life to begin with, and I'm sure it was hurt when he bought it already with the oil consumption issues he's had. So I'm super excited about giving this back to him. One last thing before I go. I know a lot of you have mentioned in the comments about how long do I expect a stage 3 block to live. And you've heard me talk about H-Tough rods and bearing life and a heavier rod versus a lighter rod and that nature. So let's talk about that real quick. These engines here, obviously it's a built engine, but I would expect to see, you know, OEM style reliability out of it. I know that's kind of a hard term to put with it, I guess. It really depends on what's going on in the car and its future, but I rate these short blocks for 500 wheel Mustang dyno, and you guys have seen our Mustang dyno is pretty much the biggest freaking heartbreaker there is. So with that being said, I do have several people out there with my blocks that have 450 to 500 wheel on them their whole life, and they are over the 60,000 mile range. So you know, obviously you have a motor that has less power, it's not as hard on it. Those motors are still going. It's still growing with time. Obviously it takes time for people to put miles on. Some people do more miles than others. If you guys follow along and watch all the videos, Travis's car, he does daily drive his car. His car has gone a 9.6 at 141, I believe it was, and he's gone many 9-second passes this year and a lot of low 10-second passes, and he's at just ranging over 8,000 miles on his stage 4 650 rated motor, and we've definitely been in the 800 range most of its life and been pushing the crap out of it. But things still keeps going. It's quiet. He's super happy. So you know, like I said, it comes with time, but I am trying to show YouTube the other side of it. You know, it's more proof for me to show that my motors last and they work, and it's been getting to be known more and more, and it's not to be cocky in any way, but we have proved that my engines work. And even in the 1,000 wheel STI, when I originally put that car together, guys, and had the big turbo kit on it, I didn't do YouTube at that time, but I had one of my BBR 650 stage 4 blocks in there, and the car made over 1,000 wheel on that block. So we went ahead, pulled that block out, and I put the BBR 1000 in it, and I got told that it should last 6 to 8 pulls at 1,000 wheel. Obviously, we're just ranging in a new environment at that point. I had never been that far, so I was like, well, you know what? I guess that is what it is, and I'll try to, try to grow from it and try to make changes to make it work better and last longer. And you know what? 100% we have, working closely with Jeremy at Outfront. Love you, Jeremy. You always take care of me, and Outfront always does. And we work very closely together to try to improve and grow. And we have. I mean, the motor's always surpassed 6 to 8 poles. I mean, the motor that's in it right now has over 2,000 miles on it, and that's pretty much unheard of at that power level. And I know some of you will think 2,000 miles, that's not hardly anything, but you gotta wrap your head around it's a 4-cylinder engine with 1,000+ wheel horsepower. I mean, usually the reliable side is 100 horsepower per cylinder, and we're obviously 300, 350 per cylinder. That's a lot, guys. I mean, that's a tremendous amount of power per cylinder. So it takes its wear and tear on it, but in the end is we're proving that my engines work and they keep growing and growing. I am constantly pushing the limits of these engines for you guys to benefit, and with me learning and growing, you know, I'm obviously learning and growing at a power level that's not tested. I mean, there's very, very few cars out there at that power level, but I am definitely always pushing the limits of my own stuff, and that's where Travis, you know, he's been worried about his being just a stage 4, but he's been thoroughly surprised of how much it's been taking and lasting about a single issue. And that's where I'm aiming for, you know. I'm aiming to grow. I'm aiming to always be open to changing and making improvements. And I tell you what, we have come so far in the last 2-3 years alone. I mean, even in the last year and a half, it's been crazy how far we've come. I'm sorry for the shakiness here, but I'm always growing, always pushing, always testing. My personal motors, I'm always making changes in them that I'm not doing in other motors. I'm always trying different things, trying new things out, see how they work. And I'll tell you what, guys, the improvements that we've been working on have been working out tremendously. And I mean, they're big things, especially for drag racing world and at the power we're at. You guys are going to see so much more come to this channel soon, and I can't be more excited. You guys have seen, you know, there's a build going on in the background. I'll give you a little hint. There's big things coming for Josh's car. You guys are going to want to see it, and I will soon be updating you of what's really going on with this car. And I have big things as far as myself and growing for the channel. Obviously, Hyperblue did its 8-second pass. Couldn't be happier. Now that we hit our goal of an 8-second street car, and we're going to create new goals, and we're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep growing. So I can't wait to grow with you guys. The YouTube channel's been growing. I can't thank you guys enough for all this and all the support. I love sharing it with you guys. I truly do love making the videos and seeing you guys interact with them. That I appreciate that a lot. So thank you guys. Like I said, I really don't want to talk your ear off. I know I already did. So I'm going to get back to breaking this thing in, and I'll go ahead and end this video out as soon as I'm done, guys. Well, we made it home. 48.2 miles. Almost timed it perfectly. But now it's time to change the oil. We're doing the first oil change on this thing, and it drove amazing, guys. I'm super happy with this thing. Super happy with how it came out. I'm going to go ahead, knock out this oil change for him, and then on the next oil change we won't have to change it till 500 miles at that point. So I'm gonna get this changed out. That's gonna wrap up this video. I hope you guys truly did enjoy this video and some of the talking that we went ahead and did in it. Once again, thank you so much, guys, for subscribing to the channel. Give me your support, your interaction. I truly do appreciate it. I know I don't talk about it much anymore, but we do have our email in the description and our website for any shirts, anything that you'd like. We do have on the website, so you can check it out. I did pick up the Evo head, and I did pick up the 07 STI built heads, so there's definitely more to come. I will see you guys in the next video.
Living life up in the fast lane. Hey. Living life up in the fast lane.